In a peaceful valley embraced by mountains, there was a small village where a young girl named Emily lived. Since childhood, Emily had always respected and been curious about her grandfather's teachings, filled with wisdom. One day, with a heavy heart, Emily approached her grandfather. She had lost her dearest companion, a lovely kitten named Kitty. Emily had grown up with Kitty by her side like family. Overwhelmed by grief, tears streamed down her cheeks as she asked her grandfather, "Why does life bring us so much pain and suffering? I loved Kitty so much, but now he's gone forever." Her wise grandfather took Emily to the lakeside. He folded a paper boat and gently placed it on the water. Emily watched as the boat sailed gracefully for a while until a strong wind suddenly blew over, tipping the boat over. It quickly fell apart and sank into the water. With tears in her eyes, Emily looked at her grandfather and asked, "What does this have to do with my suffering?" Her grandfather replied, "Emily, life is like this paper boat carrying us on a journey filled with joys and sorrows. What we call the first impact represents the inevitable events in life, just like the wind that tipped over the boat. You cannot control the wind, nor can you control life's events, such as the loss of your dear Kitty." Her grandfather continued, "Emily, now the second impact is your reaction. It represents our psychological response to events when we resist, grieve, or cling. Just as the boat fell apart and sank in the water, our suffering often submerges us in an ocean of anguish." Emily pondered these teachings and began to see the profound truth in her grandfather's words. Her grandfather went on, "Emily, you must learn to focus on the first impact, the events themselves, and let go of the second impact, your reactions and suffering. Embrace the natural flow of life and remember that suffering is optional." Emily learned to apply this wisdom to her life. She would still miss Kitty, but she chose not to carry the ongoing sorrow of the second impact. Instead, she cherished the happy memories with Kitty, finding solace in their love. The story of Emily and her grandfather reminds us that suffering is a part of life, but how we respond to it is our choice. By focusing on the first impact and letting go of the unnecessary suffering of the second impact, we can find peace and wisdom in the face of life's inevitable challenges.